So as usual, we're going to annotate this class with health Android test. You're going to set the health rule, as well as injecting the dependencies from the Vuetify application that we have implemented before. We're going to do pretty much the same thing. Let's do, for example, type in the search bar should show the product suggestions. First of all, we're going to launch the activity as usual, and we're going to run the test using the product robot. First of all, I'm going to assert that the page is ready, and I'm going to do the assertion. Let's name this particular assertion, assert can show product suggestions. Let's arrange the test by setting the search query to S, and let's arrange the correct suggestions by searching from the mock data that we have implemented under core module. The first thing that we have to do is to insert the text under the search input. We're going to do insert text, and we have to pass the matcher to look for the specific search input by the content description, search products. And we have to pass the text to insert, which is basically the search query. Next, we have to wait for the loading indicator to disappear. The matcher or the node, when I say with node, it means that we are going to look for a composable. So the composable that we are going to look for, which is identified by this matcher, and the matcher has test tag. Under search input, we have the loading indicator marked by this kind of tag. Let's copy this tag and paste it here, is not displayed. And we're going to loop over the correct suggestions and to assert that we have the suggestions. We're going to wait for scrollable container under the search input, which is the autocomplete scrollable container, to appear. Let's look for this particular container by doing with node by a test tag. We're going to wait for this particular colon to appear, which is the content description search input list test tag displayed. I think, in my opinion, this condition should be up here. After the loading indicator, we're not going to wait for each iteration. I'm going to paste it here because it doesn't make any sense, actually. We're going to assert that we have the correct data. We're going to scroll and assert a certain element is displayed. We have to provide here the scrollable container. Now, for the matcher of the specific composable that we are looking for, or the individual composable that we are looking for, in our case, it's the search suggestion item. It's identified by the content description. Let's come back to the header section. The search suggestion item is identifiable by this semantics property, content description, suggested products. And it has a parameter, and we have to provide the arguments product title. That's what I'm going to do here. That's pretty much it for this assertion. Now we are ready to run the test under product search end to end. Let's run the test. Hopefully it's going to work. It's typing, it's scrolling, and it passes. So it doesn't matter if you provide an merged tree or not. Let's run again the test. If there is any inconsistency in the UI, for example, bad spacing or bad positions of the composables, we're going to fix that after finishing all the end-to-end tests. And we're going to run basically the app, and we're going to see if there is any bad positions or wrong layouts or bad layouts for that matter. We're going to fix that manually. But for the business logic and what the application should do, I think that we are doing it the right way. So it's going to type, and that's good. Basically, it's typing and making assertions. We are just making sure that this particular suggestion item exists in the composable tree. If you want to take this test to the next level, you can assert the data, but it's not necessary. For our case, it's more than enough. We are 100% sure that we have basically the correct data. Now we need to make sure, after having the suggested products, once clicking on a suggested product, we're going to navigate to the product detail. First of all, we're going to launch the activity with the product robot. First of all, we need to make sure that the page is ready. Assert can show product suggestions, and we're going to make sure that it can navigate to product detail from suggested products. We're going to make the assertion only for the sunglasses product response as usual, because we don't have other product details to test with. Just in case, we're going to wait for scrollable container of the search input to be visible. Now we're going to scroll to the specific product, which is the suggested product matcher. I'm going to initialize here the suggested products matcher. We're going to look for this particular composable that has this content description. It's going to give us a matcher. Next, we're going to scroll to this particular composable. Let's assume that we have scrolled to this particular one. We need to click, or we need to perform click. And again, with node, basically this function is going to look for this particular composable, suggested products matcher. We're going to assert, first of all, that has click action and perform click. We're going to wait for the loading indicator under the product detail screen to disappear. We can just do assert page is ready instead. Then we're going to scroll from the parent scrollable, which is the parent container or the parent colon, scrollable colon under the layout. It's tagged with or identified with the products carousel tag. I'm going to assert, for example, just for simple assertion, that we are on the right page, that the product detail screen has the title of the specific or this particular product. Scrollable container. And we're going to look for this specific composable that has the content description. And we're going to assert that we have the correct title under the product detail screen by doing scroll, and assert is displayed. We have to provide here the scrollable container tag, and we have to provide here the matcher, which is going to look for the composable that has this particular text, product, and title. That's all for this assertion, and run the test. You can think about other scenarios. All right, so we have the app, searching, clicking on this particular one, and the test passed, which is good. Now we need to make sure that after searching a certain product, it's going to navigate to search result screen, and it should have the correct data or the correct products. First of all, we're going to launch the application. Then with the product robot, assert first of all that the home screen is ready. After the page is ready, we're going to make sure that we can navigate to a search results screen, and we have to pass in this particular function some query, all right, to make it more dynamic. I'm gonna do here assert can navigate. Let's do here, for example, S. We're going to assert that has the correct data. You can name it whatever you want. Let's create this. Come back here and let's create this as well. So what's going to happen here? We're going to insert something from the search query to the search input. Then we're going to click on the button magnify button or magnify icon button. It's going to navigate to a certain screen, which is the search result screen, and we have to make the assertion. Next, we're going to wait for the loading indicator to disappear, basically the search input loading indicator. I have just realized there is a typo, so I'm going to rename it wait until. Oh my God. And we have to look for the button to perform the click on. We have to provide here the matcher. The button, of course, it's going to be identified by the content description. It has to be here. Search button content description, search input, search button. We're going to assert first of all that it has the click action. This composable is clickable. And we're going to perform click. Now this should navigate the user to another screen, which is basically the search results screen. And we're going to just to make sure that the page is ready. Right now we have to make sure that we have the right and the correct data. Let's arrange the search query. And again, perhaps it is a good idea to do to add here the query, to maintain the same query, not to do it just twice in our code. Let's come back here to the products search results. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it like this. I'm going to arrange first the search query and paste it here, so we don't have to write it twice. Now we have the search query. We're going to arrange the correct suggestions. And we're going to loop over the this particular data, and you have to scroll and assert has correct data. The same thing that we have done basically under the home screen. All right, so that's pretty much it for this test. Let's run the test. All right, we have a problem. So basically we have two nodes satisfying the content description image for sunglasses. It should be just one composable that has that content description, but we have two, under our screen, we have two composables with the same content description, which is bad. Let's come back first of all to the screen. In the products fragment, we are handling two stuff here. The first one, which is we need to handle the flag, which is should paginate or not, and the other one, which is the is search enabled to trigger either the events search products or the other events get products. If we have divided this one to two screens, basically we won't have this problem. Let's come back to the products view model. So we have done something wrong in the code, 100% sure. Let's assume that we are loading the product. Under get products, we take the old list and we add a new list to the old list. Let's come back to the search results. The same thing here, I guess. Yeah, the same thing here in the search products. Under search products, we are taking the old list and adding the new list. No wonder we have two sunglasses. So before running the function, or we should update the state, empty list. Before running the function, we need to initialize or empty the list, the whole list, all right? To start with a new list. We're going to do the same thing under get products. Let's first of all run the integration test to see if our code is working perfectly fine. This is just the integration test for the products view model test. All right, now let's come back to the end-to-end test. Type in S. And the test passed. Now for the other case, which is the last test case for this particular product search screen end-to-end test, we're going to make sure by submitting some non-existent product title, it should show the warning message, no results. First of all, going to launch the activity and we're going to run the test using products robot. I'm going to assert the page is ready and let's call this function assert has no result message. You get the point. Now what we have to do here is we need to call the function assert can navigate to search results. I'm going to put as the search query, something that does not exist in the database. We're going to assert is displayed. What is the composable that we want to make sure that is displayed in the screen? It's identified by this text. Basically, we're going just to see if we have the warning message shown under the screen. Let's come back to the products fragment. We should be under this case. If the list is empty, we need to make sure that this text is visible. Let's copy its content description and let's come back and let's go to the warning message. In the warning message, we have a composable text. The assertion is going to be on this composable. We're just going to look for a composable that has this particular text. If it does exist, the assertion will pass. Otherwise, it's going to give an error. That's pretty much it for the assertion. Let's come back to the test and run the test. As you can see here, the test is very readable. You can't go wrong with the robot pattern. As you can see here, we have the message shown briefly in the device and the test passed. That's pretty much it for this product search end-to-end test. We need to tackle other tests for authentication as well as the wishlist. I'm going to create here a new class. I'm going to call it authentication end-to-end test. The first test here is we're going to test that the user should be able to log in when providing correct credentials. First things first, we're going to launch the activity. I'm going to make sure that the page is ready and we have to create here a new robot for authentication. Let's come back to the authentication robot and I'm going to do here with robot assert can authenticate. Assert user can log in. Let's create this under authentication robot. I'm gonna add here a function. Let's call it assert can tap on login button. For the function assert can tap on login button, we're going to look for this particular button by the matcher, and the button is identified by the content description. I'm going to assert first of all that it is clickable and perform click. We're going to call here assert can tap on login button. Let's initialize here email text field has editable label from the string resource. We're going to look for a text field that has editable label. Likewise for the password. Now we're going to wait for 5 seconds. One of those two composables, email or password, to be visible on the screen. We have this matcher email text. Afterward, we're going to insert some text for the matcher email text field and the text from the mock data and mock email, because this is the correct email. Likewise for password. Now we're going to look for a composable with node and provide the matcher has the content description button login. This button has the click action, and we're going to perform click. Next, we're going to wait for the composable email to disappear. Basically, the modal is closed. We need to make sure that we have the user menu. Let's come back to the toolbar. The user menu, this is the content description, identifying the user menu, and we're going to do here with node, looking for this particular composable. Matcher has content description. I'm going to assert that this particular composable is displayed. All right, so I think that's pretty much it for this particular assertion. Let's come back to the authentication end-to-end test, and let's run the test. That's great. The user is authenticated. Let's test right now the register function. User can register. I think it's going to be it for this authentication end-to-end test. So first of all, we're going to launch the activity, and we have to make sure the page is ready. Android Studio suggestion got it right. All right, so let's create this function, assert user can register. First things first, let's arrange some data. First of all, going to assert can tap on login. Under login form, we have this clickable text field identified by this content description, register now. We're going to click on this particular text field to switch to the other form, which is register form. So we have to look for this particular node, matcher, equal, has content description. It's identified basically by a content description, providing the string resource. And we have the content description, which is register now. We're going to make sure that it has a click action or clickable and perform click to switch to the other form. Right now we are under the register form. We're going to initialize the matchers for the text field, name text field, email, password, and the confirmation of the password. I'm gonna copy the matchers from this particular function, from the login function. Next, we're going to wait until one of those composables identified by this particular matcher is on the screen. Next, we're going to insert data in the name text field, email, password, and password confirmation. Now we're just going to make sure that the register progress button has a click action, and we're going to perform click on it. And next, we're going to make sure that the alert text is displayed, basically telling the user is registered. And for the condition, we're going to look for a node or a composable that has this particular matcher by the content description from string resource, r and string. Let's come back to the register form. For the alert message, it's basically this composable, the surface that has this background color, depending on whether success or error. And we have the content description of this icon. And of course, we have the alert text. We're going to assert according to the alert text. Under the progress button, once the user is registered successfully, we're going to assign the text under the surface. The text registered, we are glad to have you with us, and the username. So basically what we're gonna do here, we're gonna copy this first, and we have to add here the argument, the name of the user. Wait for this composable to be visible, is displayed. Let's come back to the authentication end-to-end. And let's run the test. And the test passed, which is good. We're going to focus on wishlist end-to-end test. For the first test, we're going to assert that the authenticated user can toggle wishlist on and off. As usual, going to launch the activity, wait for the page to be ready, and to authenticate the user and to make the assertion. Now, let's create another robot for this purpose. I'm going to call it wishlist robot. And let's anticipate and create the needed assertions. What we want here, basically, with the wishlist robot, first of all, going to assert that the authenticated user can add product to wishlist, and the same authenticated user can remove the same product from wishlist. Let's arrange here the product to add or to be added. Now, with this particular product, first things first, we need to get the node, which is the clickable image under the products card. Why we are doing this, if you do remember, we need to click on this particular image in order to bring wishlist button or the wishlist toggle button to appear under the screen. We have the likable button and we have the network image, which is clickable. It has this content description. Let's copy this content description because keep in mind, with node gives us the semantics node interaction. So we can interact with the composable. And we have already the content description, products card image button. Instead of product, it should be just title. Now we have the clickable image. Let's scroll to this particular clickable image, the scrollable container, which is basically the parent scrollable container. And for the matcher, it has the content description, and product card. And we have to provide here the title as an argument. Now we are scrolling to this particular composable. Let's wait until the clickable image is displayed, has a click action and perform click. By performing click, we're going to bring the likable button to the view and we have to make the assertion. First of all, we're going to wait for a while in order to let some time for the animation to finish. Wait until the timeout should be 5 seconds. And let's provide the condition. Let's come back to the products card and let's take the identifier for this likable button. For the content description, I'm going to copy this with the title, or you can do another thing under the products card. We're going to use this one, content description. For this likable button, if you do remember, we have assigned a content description, identifying the icon. Instead of doing this, going to wait for the content description that has product not in wishlist. All right, because initially the product shouldn't be in the wishlist. And you have to provide the title. This composable should be displayed. After 5 seconds, we're going to look for the node or the composable that has the content description, toggle wishlist, basically the likable button. Now we got the composable, we can assert has click action and we're going to perform click. After performing click, we need to wait for a while for the animation to finish. Basically, let's say, for example, 5 seconds, and we have to make the assertion. We need to make sure that the content description changed from not in wishlist to products in wishlist. Now we're going to wait for 5 seconds for the matcher has the content description. This time it should be in wishlist. Now for the other case, assert can remove products from wishlist. Pretty much the same thing. Let's arrange the product. Basically, we're going to remove another product, which is, we're going to remove this product, headphones. With the same manner, with the product to remove, get the clickable image, scroll to the product to remove, wait until the clickable image is displayed, assert that this clickable image is clickable and we can perform action on, and let's perform click. This time we're going to wait for this particular composable that has the content description in wishlist, because this product is already in wishlist. Next, we're going to click on the button toggle wishlist. Afterward, we're going to, instead of waiting for the product in wishlist, it should be product not in wishlist. And that's pretty much it for the assertion. As you can see, it's very easy to do. Now, hopefully it's gonna work. Let's come back to the wishlist end-to-end test and let's run the test. And the test passed. As you can see, the robot clicked on product to add and clicked on the other product to be removed from the wishlist. And the test passed. The last scenario that we're going to do here is going to test that the authenticated user can navigate to wishlist manager screen and delete products from wishlist. I'm going to call this function assert can delete product user wishlist. But before that, we need to open the user menu and we have to click on the menu item wishlist manager. So under authentication robot, we're going to create another function. Let's create this one and create this one. Let's start with the authentication robot and implement this assert can click on wishlist manager menu item. We're going to look for a composable that has the content description user menu item. Let's go back to the user menu. This is the drop-down menu. And for the first item, which is the content description wishlist user menu, we are interested in this particular user menu. We're going to assert has click action and we will perform click. I'm gonna delete this and I'm gonna assign here the wishlist manager user menu. But before this, we need to click or open the user menu first by doing with node has the content description user menu. All right, going to open the menu. First of all, it has to have the click action and perform click. Next, we're going to look for the composable that has the content description user menu, and we're going to use unmerged tree to true. Now we have the wishlist manager user menu. We're going to wait first of all for the menu to appear, for the condition user menu to be displayed. One of the items should be displayed at least. Now the user menu is visible. We're going to assert that this wishlist user menu, I'm going to name it here, not menu, but it's a menu item. First, we're going to assert that it has a click action, and we're going to perform click on it. It should navigate to the user wishlist manager screen. Now let's come back to the wishlist robot and implement assert can delete product from the authenticated user wishlist. First of all, let's arrange the product to be removed. We are talking about this particular product. Next, we're going to wait for the page is ready with the product to delete. We're going to look for the button, basically the button to delete the item. Let's come back to the wishlist manager screen. We're talking about this button. It has the test tag content description open delete modal button with node has the content description, and we have to pass here the title. Next, we're going to look for the progress button under the dialog. In the modal, we need to look for this particular button, the progress button actually, that has this content description, or confirm delete button with the content description from the string resource. Instead, we're going to do ID and toString. Now we need to act. We're going to open the dialog, assert has click action, and perform click. Now we're going to wait for 5 seconds in order to give some time to the modal to be visible. For the condition, it is confirm delete button is displayed. What you can do here, confirm delete button has a click action. I'm going to perform click. Let's wait for the progress indicator to be invisible. Next, we need to assert that the title of this particular product is no longer under the list of the products displayed in the wishlist manager screen. I'm gonna do here with node, and for the matcher, the composable text that has the text title of the product, assert is not displayed. Basically, the product is no longer in the list. That's pretty much it for the function assert can delete products from authenticated user wishlist. Let's come back to the wishlist end-to-end test and run the test. All right, we have a problem. We're going to investigate this problem in the next video. See you in the next part of the video. Happy coding!